Nintendo Wii! Just like mental illness, everybody has one. The Nintendo Wii launched in North America on November 19th of 2006. I was 10 years old at the time, and I remember my dad waited in line for hours to get me this thing for Christmas. Bless him. I got the console for Christmas and got 2 games with it. Wii Sports is the pack-in game, and The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. A game that people were beyond excited for. The hype for this game was unreal, and I couldn't wait to sink my teeth into it. I dropped it about 20 minutes in and immediately started playing Wii Sports. Yeah, Wii Sports is a thing, and man, did this game blow the hell up when the Wii launched. It was the game to have. It's just a pack-in game to show how the Wii motion controls work for the system, but this game became a phenomenon in a way that I don't think anyone expected. The Wii Sports games are now a series of 4 games in the lineup, and while I do love the Wii Sports series, they started out great, and towards the end...
It's awful.
So today, I want to take a dive down memory lane as we remember the rise and fall of Wii Sports. Man, that brings me back so much. Wii Sports is a collection of 5 sports: tennis, baseball, the only one that matters, golf, and boxing. Each sport has something fun about them. See, tennis is your regular tennis game. I do think it is the most bland sport to start off with, but it is, regular tennis. And I probably think it's bland because I'm so used to games like Mario Power Tennis on the GameCube and how insane those games are. It's more comparable to something like you'll get with the regular tennis sports games, but the thing is that makes it feel so bland to me is that you're controlling 2 Miis and you're just hitting the ball back and forth with swinging the Wii remote, kind of like a 3D Pong in a way. The Miis will move together in similar motions, which does make it easier to hit the ball, and honestly, I usually rely on the Mii in the back when I do my swings. If you do play on 2-player mode, you sadly just control each team rather than one person controlling each Mii, which is kinda sad. I do kinda dislike how you're playing alone with just the Miis, and they'll just swing at the same time. It's just kind of forgettable, I think, as it can get with this game. It is the most bland sport. Baseball is actually a bit similar, but it's a lot slower paced due to baseball being a bit more of a team sport. My favorite part of baseball is watching the Miis run when they hit the ball. They're basically Rayman and they have no limbs, so they just hobble to the bases. It's so funny to watch the first time you play this game, and even now today, I still think it's hilarious. Baseball is cool though because it's the best sport to show off a bunch of your Miis. On my original Wii, I had hundreds of Miis, so I'd always turn to baseball to show them off to people because I thought it was fun. I recorded this footage on my Wii, so sadly I can't show them, but it's still fun to see my friends pop up on the Nintendo Wii games. There's absolutely no better feeling than nailing a home run when you already have 3 Miis on the bases. I really like playing baseball with my cousins. Getting those curved swings was always so nice when you strike them out, and baseball is one of those sports that I think people sleep on in this game. It's really fun and can get really competitive if both teams are neck and neck and score. It is super easy and annoying to get foul balls in this game from your swings. You can do certain tricks with your swings if you time them correctly to make this less common, but it will still happen to an extent. It's something that takes quite a bit of practice to master. It's still a really fun sport though. Bowling, though, is definitely what you remember this game for. Bowling was the perfect sport to get the family around for, and to play to see who truly was the bowling champion of your family and friends. Like a good game of Mario Party, it truly brings out the best and worst in your family. It's also the king of breaking your TV.
Oh, that's good.
I spent several Thanksgivings and Christmases playing this with my family, and they're memories I'll never forget. There's just nothing better than getting a group together and playing a 4-person game of bowling to see who gets the highest score. It's also just a cozy sport to play. I'd come home from school several nights and play a game or two just to unwind and try to see if I could top my previous score. Bowling's fun for a lot of reasons, and you can also change your angle for the ball when you throw it to kind of make it curve a bit on the lane where it'll hit the pins. You can also throw the ball backwards, which actually causes the Miis to jump up and get scared. It's a really nice detail that to this day, I still laugh at. Up next is golf, and golf is... Finally, we have boxing, which is a load of fun. Get two Miis together and have them duke it out in a round of fisticuffs. This isn't as fun as the Punch-Out game for the Wii, but this is still quite fun to play as you're beating up each other. I wish the controls here were a bit tighter on what exactly you want to do. I have several times where I want to do a jab to the ribs, but the game will register as a jab to the jaw. I'm not really sure if this is a control issue on my end, or it's just I suck at this game. You never really know. But those are the 5 sports for the original Wii Sports, and this game is a lot of fun, whether you're playing it at a party or alone. It's a game you can bust out whenever you want, and you're guaranteed to have a great time. It's very simple. Again, 5 sports, they're just motion controls, but what's there is a super solid pack-in title, but at the same time, a fantastic party game in itself. Bowling is my favorite sport in the game due to how much nostalgia I have for it, and just because it's really fun to play, whether it be on multiplayer or singles. Wii Sports is still a fantastic game to play today. The motion controls work pretty well, and they're incredibly easy to pick up and use, even though a ton of TVs were destroyed thanks to this game.
And when oh, jeez! And there goes the tennis racket.
A fun fact that I always like to remind people is that Wii Sports is the 4th best-selling video game of all time, and the best-selling Nintendo game of all time, which is actually insane if you think about it. With that being said, though, it wasn't a shock when Nintendo would go on to announce a sequel. That sequel would go on to take the original Wii Sports formula and somehow make it even better. That's the good shit. Wii Sports Resort is a strong contender for a top 10 Wii game. Yeah, I said it. You won't find a better party game on the Nintendo Wii than this game. More sports, a new control scheme, and a fantastic time spent with this game. This game helped introduce the Wii Motion Plus, this nifty little add-on to the Wii Remote that you attach to the bottom of the Wii Remote. Later editions of the Wii Remote would end up just having the Wii Motion Plus built into it. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword came with one, in fact. It's kind of weird how Wii Sports games and Zelda games always end up relating to each other in some weird way now that I think about it. But back onto the main point here, let me sell you on this game. Wii Sports has 13 sports in this game, with 11 of them being brand new.
But wait! There's more!
That not enough for you? Well, you got these sports and tons of side modes with them. Where else are you gonna get this? Sports Champions 2? I don't think so.
Okay, when I called you garbage, I meant that you were garbage.
Let's start with the new sports here, shall we? We have sword play, where you'll face off against an opponent on the platform, and you'll fight to the death with plastic swords trying to knock each other off of the platform. This mode is a ton of fun. You can either just do the casual method of swinging the Wii Remote like crazy, trying to knock off your opponent, or you can take it slow and block attacks and try to sneak in pot shots to make it easier. It's surprisingly easy to do this, and it does make it a bit more fun trying to time your attacks. You are on a time limit though, so you do need to be kind of careful with how long this takes. Swordplay does have 2 extra modes, though. Speed Slice is basically Fruit Ninja before Fruit Ninja was a thing. Anybody remember Fruit Ninja? You and your opponent need to slice the items thrown your way, but you have to slice in the direction the game wants you to. You have to be quick, though, as the AI at first is really dumb and takes their time, but later opponents, and especially human players, will be quite quick. This is a really tense and fun game that I really enjoy playing a lot. The second mode is the Showdown mode, and this mode is really cool. You're basically on rails and fighting several opponents as they walk up to you. You'll slash all of them down until you reach the end and face off with the boss of that track, who usually has some more health and maybe armor that you need to be careful about when you're fighting, and, you know, being careful with your swings. It's kind of easy at first, but man, some of these later levels can get pretty tough. I love swordplay, and it was the mode that I was the most excited to play when I saw this game. Let's talk about wakeboarding next. Wakeboarding is, as it sounds, with you falling behind a boat on a wakeboard as you try to ride the waves in order to obtain a high score. It's pretty simple, but this one's really fun as you have to try to kind of manage how you're holding the Wii Remote. You want it to kind of be flat when you want the board to land, because if you do, you'll get points, but if you don't, you're going to fall in the water and you don't get points. You are timed when you're doing this, so you do have to be kind of careful here. Up next is one that I don't really like a lot, and that's Frisbee and Disc Golf, as they're kind of similar. With Frisbee, you're throwing a Frisbee to this very adorable Mii dog in the hopes of the good old pupper catching it. Now, I do like it just for the pupper, but I think this actual sport is kind of boring. See, the farther you throw the frisbee, the better your score. Disc golf is similar, as you want to get to land in a certain portion of the ground in order to obtain a better score. It's just kind of okay, I guess. One that surprised me, though, in a replay through was archery. See, I disliked this one as a kid, but as an adult, I love this sport. It's so fun to play. It's just basic archery. You have a bow and arrow, and you want to shoot your arrow to hit a precise point on the target to get more points. As a kid, I hated how precise you had to be with this game, but growing up, it's kind of fun. You have to factor in the wind blowing, and this affects how the arrow will move on the way to hit your target. You also have to factor in any possible objects that can be in your way that can cause the arrow to accidentally hit it and completely miss your target. I think it's a great evolution of golf, honestly, from the original game, as you actually had to factor in that kind of thing with the direction of how the wind was blowing as well. This is a super fun sport, and one that my family enjoyed a lot. I didn't really get the appeal of it until this playthrough, but man, this sport is so fun. It really shows how much the Wii Motion Plus helped this game out. A bit of a simpler sport up next with basketball. Basketball has two modes. The 3-point contest, you'll have a set amount of basketballs to shoot towards the goal in order to see what high score you can get. Regular basketballs are worth 1 point, and the other special ball is worth 3 points. This mode is addictive as hell. My mom, my aunt, and I, we used to play this game a lot to see who get the most points. It's a really competitive, fun little sport. You also get the pickup game where 2 teams of 3 will play a good old-fashioned game of basketball, shoot from the free-throw line, pass the ball to your teammates, steal the ball, and even hit a slam dunk. I think this mode loses the competitive nature of the 3-point contest, but it's still a pretty solid time. I wish you could move around maybe a little bit more, but it's still fun. Table tennis is also here, replacing regular tennis, and it's kind of the same thing, but now you're playing on a table. I do think the mechanics for this one can be a bit odd. There are times I swear that I hit this ball perfectly, and it'll just fly off the table, giving the opponent another point. It's a fine sport. It's not really my favorite, but this is one where I really think the Wii Motion hurts it because of how weird it can control at times. Golf. Bowling is back, and my god, they did it. They make perfection even better. Bowling in Wii Sports Resort is the contest of champions. The Wii motion controls make it so much more fun to play, and it's somehow more addictive with new game modes such as the 100-pin challenge. My god, it's incredible. 100 pins on the lane, and you have one bowling ball to knock down as many as possible. It's so cathartic hearing the sound of the ball hitting all those pins. I truly can't describe how much I love this mode. It's so fun and honestly worth the price of Wii Sports Resort alone. Many days after school were spent playing this mode. Bowling in general is great, but the 100 pin challenge just adds an extra element to it that I think makes it even more fun. The other mode is spin control, and this one is quite fun as well. You have more obstacles on your lane that you have to dodge, so you need to be quite skilled spinning your bowling ball. This one isn't as fun as the 100 pin challenge to me, but it's fun for a competition to see who's the best around. Bowling in Wii Sports Resort is just fantastic, and it's still my favorite sport in the entire series. Also, the Mii's still jump when you throw the ball back. Power Cruising's up next, and this is honestly my least favorite in the game. This one just controls weird. You're on a jet ski and trying to reach the end of the finish line. You have to use the Wii Remote nunchuck like the actual handles of the jet ski, and I don't know, man, this one just controls kind of weird to me, and I've never been able to really get the hang of it. I always just leave this one alone when I play this game, and I'm doing it right now because it's really boring. Canoeing is another water sport, and this one's okay. You're in a canoe and you make the motion of a paddle to move your boat. I mainly remember this sport for the ducks in the water. It's not one I play a lot, but I think it's interesting just for the little ducks. Let's talk about cycling. Cycling's a really cool one. You're racing across different tracks on Woohoo Island, and you have to handle the Wii Remote nunchucks like you would the bike handles and shake them in order to speed up. However, you can't just abuse the motion as you have a stamina gauge of 3 hearts. Clearly, Skyward Sword took this as well. See, you use them up and you're out of breath and you're going to slow down. You can use the momentum you get to your advantage, though, when going down the hills to just coast and save up that stamina. This is an underrated sport, I think. It's a load of fun timing your boost and learning new ways to get around the island. It's also a great way to see the sights of Woohoo Island. Speaking of that, our final sport of the game is air sports, and this one is really cool. See, when you boot up Wii Sports Resort for the first time, you have to play a parachuting game. You're basically just skydiving and tagging along with other fellow divers to take pictures that you can later view if you want to. It's a great way to jump into this already fantastic game. The main part of air sports, though, is the flying minigame. You're basically in a plane and you're going to fly around Woohoo Island and you're going to do some sightseeing. You can find special markers that give you information about each of the landmarks on Woohoo Island, so you're also kind of learning about different spots on the island. I think it makes it feel really special. I remember as a kid, I thought being able to fly in the volcano was the coolest thing ever. It takes quite a bit of practice to do this, to finally aim your way into that, but man, the first time you do it, and find that marker, it's amazing. And I was amazed as a kid. I love this mode. It's so relaxing, and I really like learning about this fictional island. It shows that they put quite a bit of work into this game and alongside the setting that you're also going to be on. You also have dogfighting when you play this game on 2-player mode. And that one's also pretty fun. You basically have the planes you're going to try to shoot at each other. It's kind of neat. See, I told you so. This game has quite a bit of fun content to explore. I love Wii Sports Resort. It's not just one of my favorite sports games ever, but one of my favorite Nintendo Wii games in general. I made so many memories playing this game with my family, whether it be bowling with cousins, archery with aunts and uncles, or just watching my grandma play the basketball game. I had so much fun with this game, and it made so many memories that I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. I love this game. I probably could talk more about it, but I do want to mention that Wii Sports Resort was a huge step in the right direction after Wii Sports. It fixes a lot. The controls are better sports, new modes. But when the next Nintendo console, the Wii U, launched, I did ask myself, how are they going to improve this? And what is next for Wii Sports? Wii Sports Club! I mean, we all disappoint our parents at some point. So Wii Sports Club is a game that angers me. Why do you ask? Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Wii Sports Club is an HD remake of the original Wii Sports for the Nintendo Wii U. This game launched digitally in 2013 with only tennis and bowling available. Now you're asking, Lance, you just said this is a remake of Wii Sports. What's going on here? Well, it technically is. You had to buy the other sports. See, baseball, boxing, and golf will be released at a later date, and you could just buy these sports individually or together if you wanted to. And there are two viewpoints of this. I could just buy bowling if I want to play bowling, and then I don't have to waste my money on the other sports that I don't care about. And then there's the other side of the coin here who realized that you could just play the original Wii Sports on the Wii U since it was already backwards compatible, and buying the original was cheaper than buying Wii Sports Club. Nintendo had a really bad problem with this method during this generation. They did it with Wii Sports Club, the Bowser's Inside Story remake, and more titles. Just ports that, yeah, add a tiny bit, were pointless since the system they were on was backwards compatible with the previous version of this existing game. I don't own Wii Sports Club anymore. That probably kills any argument I'm about to make here, but hear me out. I did play the trial quite a bit, and I thought, oh, it's just the game I already own, but now in HD, and I never want to get it. This game does have online play, which, you know, is really neat. Here's the problem with that, however. This is on the Wii U, a system not well known for selling well, and 2, for having meh to poor online. And to bounce off of that, I think Wii Sports is a game that is better played locally with friends and family. When you play online, it's just not the same. That technically applies to any game, really, but Wii Sports is a series that is truly built off of that, you know, getting folks together and playing around at bowling. This game just doesn't do that. And you can play local multiplayer, don't get me wrong, but I think it just kind of loses the point of Wii Sports, of getting people together and having fun. And another thing, why not add more sports? Wii Sports Resort is also available to be played on the Wii U via backwards compatibility, and not only looked better than the original Wii Sports, but had more sports. I literally recorded Wii Sports Resort off of the Wii U for this video. I think if Club added the sports from Resort alongside the original sports from the original game, I could maybe understand why people would want this package, but for what it is, it just feels like a soulless cash grab to back off of the Wii Sports name. And I mean, Nintendo would never do that, right? You know, you can't get much less soulless than a ginger kid quite like Nintendo Switch Sports. We had an 8-year gap from Wii Sports Club to Nintendo Switch Sports. I honestly thought Wii Sports Club was kind of a disappointment, but when Nintendo Switch Sports got announced, I was pretty excited. I really like the Nintendo Switch console. It's one of my favorite Nintendo systems, so I thought this would be a perfect game to feed my Wii Sports hunger. The game would release on April 29th of 2022 to very mixed reviews, and I wouldn't play it until this year, and well, I was disappointed. I got a lot of problems with this game, and I do mean a lot. Now, let me state that this game isn't bad. It's not. It's just boring, soulless, has a very stupid gear system, dead online, sports that feel the same. And did I mention that the game is soulless? Gameplay-wise, this game works. It's functional, but it's so boring. Let's get into it. Nintendo Switch Sports is kind of different from the Wii Sports games. It has Nintendo Switch in the name instead of Wii, and it's also really bad. When the game was first announced, we saw that it took on a new art style for the characters. These weren't Miis, but instead sports mates. I'm honestly not against these guys existing. It adds a different thing for people to play as, but people weren't happy about it as, Miis were kind of the charm of the Wii Sports series. It would be later confirmed that Miis would return, and you could swap between the two character styles, which I am glad they did add. It kind of satisfies both crowds. And are the sports mates kind of soulless looking? Yeah, I think so, but again, it's something different, and I don't really hate them. This game also uses the Joy-Cons, replacing the Wii remotes with a new additional add-on with the leg strap. This little doohickey is a leather strap that you place on your leg. It's used for Ring Fit Adventure as well, which is another fun little exercise game, but the leg strap does come with this game if you do want to buy it, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, let's jump into the actual game, shall we? The gameplay follows the motion control style gameplay that we've seen from the previous games, and honestly, it controls pretty great from the sports we're going to be playing. Nintendo Switch Sports released with 6 sports. Let me repeat that. They released with 6 sports. So, we're not off to a great start here, but maybe those sports are really fun. Our 6 sports are tennis, badminton, volleyball, chambara, bowling, and soccer. 4 of these sports are net-based, by the way. I do want to be somewhat positive about this game, so let's start with bowling. Bowling is still really fun, and it does play quite similarly to bowling from the previous games. I do feel as if the controls are a bit tighter, maybe even a little bit stricter here with how you're controlling it. Not in a bad way, it's actually kind of in a nice way. The footage you're going to see here is my first time playing this game, and I somehow just had an absolutely incredible game. I don't know if I was just lucky, again, I'm not sure, but I absolutely killed it in bowling. I also played all of this footage online. Most lobbies here were kind of dead, but when I did play with people, I got first place in mostly every game. So either the lobbies are super dead and I just got fed AI, or I'm a god in Nintendo Switch Sports bowling. Maybe that's got to go on the resume one of these days. Let's talk about the other sport I really like. Chambara is basically swordplay from Wii Sports Resort. The main difference with how it appears in this game, though, is with the options of how you can play it. See, you get 3 different sword variations to fight with. The regular sword, a sword in which you can charge up your attack, perform a powerful swing attack, and even dual wielding. This is actually pretty cool and offers different ways to play the sport. You can even mix up and match your fights here. So if you prefer to dual wield with your swords, and your opponent prefers the regular one sword, you can do that in a match. It makes the experience different for each player playing, and I actually think this makes it somewhat better than the version of the Wii Sports Resort. Don't get me wrong, I would still rather play the Wii Sports Resort because it's a better game, but it's kind of different, and it makes Wii Sports Resort and Nintendo Switch Sports feel very different, and they have different things that work in this, so I do kind of like it. And since I like that, it means it's time to get on negative stuff. Let's talk about some of the new sports and a new accessory here. So again, as I mentioned before, we have the leg strap. This is used for soccer, which is new to the series, and you have the choice here to actually use the leg strap or not. And I actually appreciate that they give you that choice. They didn't have to do that, but they did, and I will give Nintendo Switch Sports that little bit of credit. It gets a 4.1 instead of a 4. The leg strap was introduced in Ring Fit Adventure, though, where you can use it to perform different exercises like squats and specifically jogging. I have a whole video about Ring Fit Adventure. If you're interested, please go check it out. Soccer, though, gives you the ability to use the leg strap to kick the ball yourself. Do a kick motion with the leg strap, and you'll kick the ball. You don't need to do this, as you actually can just use the controller if you prefer that. I kind of like using the leg strap, even though it is kind of pointless, and I think it was only added because Wii Sports and Resort both gave you an accessory. Soccer isn't exactly awful to play. My issue is that it doesn't really feel like a Wii Sports type of game. I think it's because you're moving around so much and there's a lot of extra movement to it. That might sound like an odd complaint, but it feels more like something out of Mario Party or even Crash Bash rather than Wii Sports. Like, you could throw this in Wii Party U and I wouldn't think anything about it. Wii Sports is just a bit more simple as you're kind of just in one spot. See, you can move on grids in some sports, but besides the air sports from Resort, you're not normally moving around this much and having to think about other mechanics. Again, it's not awful, but it's just kind of there. It's not particularly interesting like bowling or chambara. It's just soccer, which is a shame because there are fun soccer games made by Nintendo. Mario Strikers, anybody? Volleyball is new, and it's a thing, and I don't really like volleyball in real life, and I don't really like in this game much either. See, the issue is that it's so automated, and it's all style and no substance, and there's not a lot of style here. 2 teams of 2 will be on the court, and you want to hit the ball where it'll touch the other side of the team's court. You get a point from doing that. Volleyball can be fun in person depending on who you're playing with, but in this game, the AI does all of the work for you. They'll bump the ball for you. Your AI partner will get it up in the air. You'll bump it for them. Then you'll run up and you'll spike it until someone eventually gets a point. It's super easy, and it's just kind of boring to play. This is going to come off kind of hypocritical after I just talked about soccer, but I think if you could kind of control your movements a bit more here, and, move around a bit more where you like on the court, it could be kind of fun. Imagine 4 players playing this, and you can just move you and your teammate around, have to coordinate moves to try to bump the ball and spike it to win at different points. It would be interesting. It's certainly no Haikyuu, let's be honest here. Next up is badminton, and honestly, out of the net-based sports, this one's actually kind of okay. I do enjoy a nice game of badminton in real life, and like tennis, you're going to hit the object, in this case the birdie, and bounce it back from player to player while hitting it with your racket. You can do hard shots to launch the birdie far off, soft shots to make it kind of land near the net, making it easy to score, and more. This sport is okay. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's just decent, The issue with it, though, is that tennis returns, and these two sports are so similar, it's not even funny. Having 4 net-based sports is fine as long as you have a variety of different sports. Net-based sports, being 4 of the 6 sports in this package, just make them feel less unique. Soccer is the only one that stands out, and that's because you're running around rather than being stuck on rails and hitting a ball. Like, tennis is fine, it's similar to the Wii game, but I just wish they did more to help it stand out with the other sports in this game. That's my biggest issue with Switch Sports. Besides a few tweaks and stuff like Shambara, it doesn't stand out. Sort of. I'm kind of lying when I say that. It does stand out for one main reason that I don't like about this game. In fact, I hate about this game. The gear system. See, Nintendo Switch Sports lets you customize your character, which honestly is pretty neat. I love being able to customize my character and how they look and stuff in a video game. It's really cool, especially in sports games. I think it makes it feel more special and helps you stand out. The thing is, though, this does only apply to the new Avatar and not the Mii, sadly. Here's my biggest issue with the gear system, and this is probably going to kill this thing for a lot of people. If you want to get new gear, you have to play online, and you can only get gear through this method. Gear is updated every 3 weeks with the option to get gear once per week.
Huh?
You heard that right. Once per week. So let's say you play a lot of bowling on Monday and you get a lot of points. You'll get the gear that day, and then you're done until next week. Because how this game does it is you have 3 weeks of a set style you can get, but you can only get gear once per week, so you're stuck with that style for 3 weeks. So let's say you don't like that style, well, you're fucked. It sucks, and the game picks it for you, so you can't pick what you want. It's such an absolutely awful method of obtaining gear. Why not just make a shop where you can earn points from the sports to get new gear? Why do I have to get stuck with this lame gear that I don't want to use? Give me the option to just buy the gear I want. You literally had Mario and Sonic at the Winter Olympic Games doing this right in 2010. On the Wii, mind you. It's such an awful way to get you to continue to play a game that already lacks so much content. And let's hop into that. See, Nintendo in the Switch era is really weird with their titles. Games like Mario Tennis Aces, Mario Strikers Battle League, Mario Golf Super Rush, Splatoon 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Nintendo Switch Sports launched with not a lot of content. Splatoon 2 and Animal Crossing had more than the rest, but it was still an issue for both of those games. These games were designed to have new content added in through updates. Now, this isn't just Nintendo, I don't want to shit completely on them. Other companies are doing this as well, especially with live service games. They'll drip feed you updates on new content in order to keep you hooked to the game or bring you back. Another example here is AEW Fight Forever, which is doing the same thing, and it also killed that game. So here's my issue with this. These games don't have enough content to keep me interested past a week, let alone a month. These updates take quite a while to come out, and by the time they do, most players don't care about the game. Yeah, when Animal Crossing New Horizons got the updates, I would check it out for a minute, but then I'd move on to something else. This method does work for something like a Fortnite, as the player base is so huge, and you have a lot of content to keep you busy with it. No one's gonna be buying Mario Strikers Battle League thinking, oh boy, I can't wait to play this game that has a severely lacking roster and very boring generic limited stages to play on, and I'm not gonna get updates for a long time, and they're gonna kill the game after 6 months. I hate this method so much, and Nintendo Switch Sports suffers extremely from this. This game launched with 6 sports that we previously talked about, and you were expected to wait for updates to add in new sports and gear. The gear is pointless, and it doesn't add anything, and I refuse to play this game that much for gear that I don't like. Again, I like to just play as my me rather than the sportsmate, so the gear just doesn't do anything for me. If you like using the sportsmate and you want to customize your character, then that's an option, but you're still swimming through a sewer to find a damn diamond. I would only go back to this game for bowling and Shambara, but I can just play these games on better in previous titles like Wii Sports Resort. And now let's talk about the update issue. So to remind you, Nintendo Switch Sports launched on April 29th of 2022. The game had very little content with 4 repetitive sports. The first free update, though, was Golf. I somehow am not asleep. It must be the anger. And Golf didn't come out until November 28th of 2022. A whole 5 months after the game came out. The player base was dead at this point, and to make it worse, it's not even new tracks. It's tracks from the original Wii Sports game. Now, I'm no game developer. I don't know how hard it was to add Golf in, and I won't slag on the developers for the work they did. They're just doing their job. It is also possible that this game was somehow affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. However, while I'm not a game developer, I am a white nerd who complains about video games into the void known as the internet. This was such a pathetic update. I'm currently recording this video on November 21st, 2023. There hasn't been one sport added to this game since Golf on November 28th of 2022. Almost a full year since then. This game is super dead. Someone call my mom to tell me to wash the dishes because Nintendo Switch Sports is washed. That made no sense and I fucked that up. But still, this game is buried. And it makes me sad because I think this game has promise. I love the Wii Sports series, and I like some of the ideas that this game goes for. I love the new things added to swordplay with the different swords. Why couldn't they have done other stuff to the sports to make them feel different? The online here, when it works, can be fun, mainly for bowling, even though it is kind of slow at times because it's more waiting for characters and other people to play, but still can be fun. It's kind of like having your own little league, and I kind of like that. Soccer could also be loads of fun if it was just sped up a tiny bit and not as generic, and maybe if you had a few other courts to play on. However, that's the thing. This package is severely lacking. 4 of the sports are net-based. It only has 7 sports at this time, while Resort, a game released in 2009, releases a full package with 13 sports and tons of side modes for those sports. The gear system just fucking sucks, and I don't ever want to play this game enough to get much of it. It's just not worth it. I hate the live update method of this game where you're slowly drip content to play it. Don't buy Nintendo Switch Online just to play this game. You're wasting your money if you do. If you want NSO, you can play other fun multiplayer titles like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, the Splatoon games, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and more. And what makes it worse is when this game came out in 2022, other multiplayer games that were better came out. So, like, what happened here? This game boggles my mind. Is it bad? No. It's technically well made. I never encountered any glitches or any lag. It performs quite well. It looks visually decent, and the music is surprisingly good for what it is. It's just the lack of content and boring sports that hold it back. What was once a series built on simple fun for the family that you could also play single player rose into an even better package with tons of content, only to drop into a boring trial-based game, and then later into a live service bare-bones excuse for a Wii Sports title. The rise of Wii Sports was incredible, and I still go back to the original games to this day. They're so fun to play with friends and family, and there's a reason why they sold incredibly well, and if you go to a party and somebody's got a Wii, they definitely own Wii Sports. Wii Sports Club is just an interesting experiment, but one that's just useless to own or even get the time it was released. It didn't help that it was on a system that not many people cared about, which now is kind of interesting since it's kind of rare and expensive. But then we got Nintendo Switch Sports, which is just a sad excuse of a Wii Sports game. It's a sports game that just got the Wii Sports seal of approval put on it with cheaply made glue. I truly hope that whenever we get the next Nintendo system, whatever it is, we can get a better entry into this series, because the first two games are so fun. They're really fun to play with friends and family, and I made so many memories playing these games, whether it be with friends and family, or just myself when I came home from school and wanted to play bowling to de-stress. They're just comfort games. They're so fun. They're incredible. And to see this series fall so much is just sad. It's one that I don't think people think about that much when you see series that really go down the depths and quality. And maybe one day I'll cover some of the other Wii games like Wii Play, Wii Party, Wii Fit, and because I love Pain, Wii Music. Maybe even throw in some of those well-known third-party garbage like Carnival Games, and even Chicken Chew, because I kind of like that one for weird purposes. But yeah, that's the rise and fall of Wii Sports. And with that, I must bid you adieu. Thank you all for watching. Do you have any memories with the Wii Sports series? If so, what's your favorite sport in the series? Once again, thank you all for watching, and please have a fantastic day. Later, my friends.